I will add to what Comrade Amarjit Kaur has said, and I will take you from what Comrade CHB was sharing and Comrade Atul Goel was sharing with all of you. But before that, let me congratulate the All India Bank Employees Association. 80 years is not a matter of joke, and still counting. The All India Bank Employees Association, our gratitude on behalf of almost 340,000 officers in the banking sector for being the pioneer to bring nationalization in this country. And we resolve on this date on your conference that will ensure that not only the private sector bank, its character, the public sector character of the public sector bank remains, will ensure that the private sector banks are also nationalized. And while you deliberate on this 4 days, definitely deliberate on many issues. And I can see from your eyes, many young boys, maybe 5-day banking may be very dear to you. And the question being, why so much of PLI to be paid to 5% of the executives and 95% they are paid a small amount of money. The stress in the bank branches, the attack on the bank employees, and the shortage of officers and the employees in the banking sector, the more use of outsourcing in the banking sector, the risk associated with the banking sector, and many other issues that corrects the banking sector. But it is not for any academic discussion. As a trade union, we must also prepare ourselves for struggle, plan ourselves, so that whatever is today pain, tomorrow that should be taken care by the trade unions. Now, these are for me, according to as per All India Bank Officers Confederation, we totally align with your All India Bank Employees Association. And in that way, we feel that we are nationalists, that we must think about the people of this country. Because as far the, if you see the Wikipedia, as per 2004 report, the total employed population in this country to the total population in the government sector or in the public sector is 3.92%. And today, when the government says that we have no business to be in business, I fear it may be less than 3%. Now, if you see the banking sector and public sector banks in particular, the types of customers we have, the number of customers we have, and if you see the private banks, then we must understand that almost 60 to 70% of the deposit in the public sector banks or in the other bank, that is from the common man of this country, which Comrade Amarjit Kaur was referring to. We as a banker, we also don't keep money in the banks. Whatever surplus we generate today, we are putting in mutual fund. And the poor, the lower middle class, the people under the BPL, they are putting the money in the banking system. But we know in the public sector bank today, a poor customer comes to us, we don't have a time to even give loan to that customer if he's asking for a loan because of shortage of staff. We are giving loan to the corporate spend. The Tatas, they took over the Air India. The government, the banks have given them loan at 4.25%. We are giving loans to the corporates below the, to such a rate, below the card rate. But whereas, when a small customer comes to our bank, we are unable to serve them because of shortage of staff. We are not willing to give a loan of even 1 lakh rupees, even 50,000 rupees, because we feel there is a shortage of staff. It is better to give a housing loan of 1 crore. And in that way, I achieve 100 times of my target. And in the process, these customers, they have no option but to go to the non-banking finance companies where they are charged above 18%, maybe 20%, 26%. Whereas in the entire banking system, around 70 to 80% of the deposit on which the banks runs, it belongs to that category of the people. So a movement has to be started in this country that where is my interest rate? I am the person which is keeping the money in your bank and you are giving me 2.5% in my savings interest and I accrue that money. If I put in a fixed deposit, you are giving me 5 to 5.5%. And my money you are giving to the corporates at 4.25%. And when I come to you, you say that I have no manpower and I'm unable to give you loan. And I am forced to go to a non-banking finance company, which is giving me loan at more than 18%, maybe 20 to 28%. And even the middle class, the upper middle class, the SME borrowers, they're taking loan from us for working capital finance. We call it cash credit or whatever name, in different names in our banks. They are paying an interest of 7 to 8%, but they are not keeping any deposit with us. The people who are working in the government sector or in the public sector, they are getting a car loan, even education loan is somewhere around 9 to 11%. But the banking system which runs on the money of the common man of this country, they are not given loan and they are at the mercy of the non-banking finance company. The question is, the citizen of this country must ask that you are running the banking system with our money, and when I come to you, think that I am not a credible borrower. So the movement has to be there in this country that where is my interest rate? And this should be a mass movement. The idea behind is, it is because of the shortage of employees and the staff in the public sector bank that we are unable to serve to the common man of this country who is keeping the banking system in the country intact, the public sector and the private sector. The question has to be asked to this government that why the common man's interest is not protected. Comrade Amarjit Kaur was talking about the issue today the nation is facing. It is not about people's issue, the unorganized sector, because if they are not protected, we will not be protected. Let us look at the issue in a different way. Today, if you see outside the city of Bangalore, any small city, the number of gig workers that have increased, the AI that has come, Comrade Mr. Sri Atul Goyal was talking about that the wage negotiation will be signed, if possible, on 31st of October 2027. We are happy, we want to sign. But I want to ask a question to the IBA. Can they bring out a white paper that they will not use AI in the banking system? And already the RBI has published a paper which from the All India Bank Officers Confederation, we have opposed that whatever report they have published, that the AI should not be there in the banking system. Even we have also, on my personal behalf and on behalf of the AIBOC, we have also published an article that the way the dolly ship, the cloning of dolly ship was banned, the AI should be banned because it is cloning the entire system, the human system. The country like India, which has 140 crore population, too much of use of technology will be detrimental when in the West. And maybe in many economies, they are closing up. Our people cannot go outside. So much of use of technology will boomerang in this country. And we have been questioning that. And now in the banking system with the use of the AI, the front line, our members from the All India Bank Employees Association or maybe the other workmen union, there will be a serious threat. Already if you see the public sector bank, the officer to employee ratio has come down to, even in many banks, 0.25%. 25% of that, 1:0.25. In many banks, it is 1:0.50. Except in State Bank of India, at least 1:1 ratio is maintained. And from the All India Bank Officers Confederation, we have been demanding that there should be more recruitment of clerical staff in the banking system. And we have been demanding that in every branch, there should be one permanent messenger. It is not only for you, but it is for the selfish interest for the bank. It is for the selfish interest for the officers that we want. If the bank has to flourish, we need people who are from the local area. We must understand that how the private sector banks, they are working. If a customer gives a deposit of 50 crores, the employment is done from the family of that person. This is the way they are operating. And we don't have the corporate memory now. We are under the CBC guidelines. Even the officers, they cannot be in the area and are losing the business. This is a planned way that the government is trying to make these public sector banks redundant. In 2017, the prompt corrective action came, which forced the public sector banks, many banks, not to lend. And in the process, our credit growth, there was no credit growth. We could not lend. And the deposit growth also was not there because there would have been asset liability mismatch. The trade unions, all of us, we worked together and we came out of the PCA. The government found that this PCA is not working. I will substantiate why I am saying this. Then came the merger of the public sector bank. And with the merger, we have lost heavily. We are having around market share of 74% somewhere in 2017 or 18. Now today, if you look at the market share of the public sector banks, it is somewhere 50% in advances, 55% and 60% in deposit. And they brought the merger, and that also, we have defeated the ploy. The public sector banks started making profit. Then came the idea to make big banks. The idea to make big banks. And now they are talking that all the country needs big banks to support the long-term finances for infrastructure. Now the same government has committed to the International Monetary Fund. In the month of February 2025, there is a report which is in the public domain. The IMF says, consolidate, merge and privatize all the public sector banks in India. The government says, we are on the path of doing this. Already we have decided that two public sector banks will be privatized. And the IDBI bank, very shortly, we are going to sell this IDBI bank. So the narrative that has been set, that we need long-term banks, the idea behind is something else, the agenda is something else. And to substantiate that, it is the IFCI, the ICICI, the IDBI, these are the long-term public sector banks. It is at the behest of the IMF and the World Bank that these banks were privatized. It is the UTI Mutual Fund. It is at the behest of the IMF and the World Bank that this was privatized. Your Aadhaar, your GST, even the smart city is also at the advice of the International Finance Capital, because they say that nothing should be given free, when the water should not be given free, and the municipality should be in the private hands. So you must understand the policies of this country are not decided in this parliament. It is decided somewhere else. Now coming back to the issue, the recruitment not happening, the AI coming into the banking system, and more officers who are exploited more. They don't have the protection of many of the statute which you have. And I fear what Comrade Amarjit Kaur Madam was saying with the new labor law, whether that protection will be available to you or not. But Madam, let me assure you, we are going to hit these streets. Whatever law may be there in this country, be it 5-day banking, be it PLI, be it privatization. If we, the employees of the public sector bank, we decide that we are not going to be privatized, we are not going to be sold. You sell the bank, you cannot sell us. That is the day the government has to think otherwise. So we assure you that we are not going to take care of us. But I also appeal to our United Forum of Bank Unions, my friend, Comrade CHB, that time has come to unionize the banking correspondents, the customer service points. So much of outsourcing going on. So in that way, once we do that, maybe in the time to come, the trade union will also flourish in the private sector bank. We also request the all central trade unions to support the cause of the United Forum of the Bank Union, so that we can unionize in the private sector bank. Once we unionize in the private sector bank, the government's agenda, the corporate agenda to privatize the public sector bank will be over. In that way, the entire banking sector will be under the trade unions, and the employees' rights and their whatever rights and benefits will be taken care of. And finally, we must understand, if you don't exist in future, there will be no job for our children in the banking system. And our children, they will be gig workers of this country. So the time has also come to speak for them, to stand for them, because we are the privileged class. We are the top 1% earner in this country. And if, as a trade union, we don't take this step and we start thinking beyond our benefits, perks, पास दिन बैंकिंग तो हम छीन के लेंगे. आप सोचिए मत. हम स्ट्राइक किए थे, वो घबरा गए थे. घबराने के बाद PLI उन्होंने दिया डिवाइड एंड रूल करने के लिए. उस पर भी हम घबराए नहीं, उसको भी हम रोक के रखे हैं. हम उसको भी नहीं देने देंगे, और 5 दिवसीय बैंक भी हम लेके रहेंगे. जब सारा दुनिया 4-day बैंकिंग की बात करें, हम उस पर भी जाएंगे. इस पर आप एश्योरेंस रखिए. ट्रेड यूनियंस अपने सोच के हिसाब से टेक्टिकल मूव हमें करना पड़ता है. हर आपकी मांग को हम रखेंगे. इस समय हमें न केवल 5 दिवसीय बैंकिंग के बारे में बात करना, हमें इसके बारे में बात करना है. जो हमारे सीनियर एग्जीक्यूटिव है, PLI आप एक चेहरा देख रहे हैं कि 14 लाख से 40 लाख दिया जाएगा. अगला चेहरा यह है कि जो लास्ट के 20% है, उन्हें एक्सटेंशन नहीं दिया जाएगा. दिस सर्कुलर हैज आल्सो केम व्हेन ह्यूज अमाउंट ऑफ मनी वाज गिवन. दिस गवर्नमेंट, व्हेन दे आर not positive about updation of pension, when to fight for a single rupee you have to give a strike call. This government has become so magnanimous that every year they have provided for 8,900 crores to give incentive to 5% of your employees in the banking system. Don't you understand the design? The design is to see that the last 20% they will not be given extension when they attain the age of 55 and 58. That instruction has parallelly come. Normally our tendency to see is the brighter side of the thing. So much of money has gone, but the other side, and let me also share with you, 2 officers, chief managers in AIB Bank, I will not name the bank, in the city of Kolkata, they are not given extension very recently because they were in the last bracket. It is because of the unions in the through persuasion that has been taken care of. Days are not far that 20% इस जगह से senior management को हटाया जाएगा. फिर 20%, a day will come, maybe it will come to each one of us. हम पे भी ये implement किया जाएगा, आप पे भी इसको implement किया जाएगा. So if you don't stand for them, we are not against they are getting more, but we are against that in that way they are trying to divide the industry. 5% of the people will be given so much of money and 95% will be deprived. 300 crore से सारा industry को हम take care कर सकते थे और आप 4000 crore दे रहे हो सिर्फ 5% लोगों के लिए. That also we have to stop, and we have to stop the way they are trying to exploit the senior management. If they're exploiting the senior management, they will be exploiting all of us. That is the danger we must understand. So with these few words, I thank Comrade CHB for inviting me, and I'm so happy to be here, and I wish the conference a grand success. Thank you so much.